Ro Stevenson from I Built the Sky. Welcome back to Australian Musician.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thanks for having me.
You've got a new studio album coming out on June 3, which is called The Quiet Place Away. Something a bit different for you. It's an acoustic album. Has this acoustic album idea been with you for a while?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been with me I'm kind of in my mind from the beginning, really, because yeah, I'm definitely a big acoustic fan, and I love writing acoustic music if for nothing else, the challenge of the the headspace to write acoustic music where you don't have drums and you don't have big production behind you as something to draw from. It's more about the chords and the notes and a bit more of a stripped back approach, I suppose. So yeah.
There's a lot in this music. In general, how do you document your ideas as you go along? Do you use notation, or do you just record bits and piece them together?
I use my phone for the most part. I just if I come up with a riff or something, I'll record a video of it so I can see how I'm playing it and remember it and stuff. And yeah, usually that's my first point of call, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. So where does the title track, the Quiet Place Away, come from? Why is that the title track?
I just felt like it sort of best explained the vibe of the album. Like it's acoustic, so it's definitely, we don't have distortion and big power chords and things. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of have that vibe that it's like, we're away from the noise and we're more into these subtleties of acoustic music for the most part.
Yeah. Well, what about the track titles? Did you already have a few titles in mind before the music, or did they just become apparent when you were writing?
Yeah, more so towards the end of the process. So I tend to call my songs like song 1, song 2, song 3 when I'm in the process of creating, and then the more I go, I sort of get a vibe for it and sort of try and capture the emotions that come from it and get the song titles that way.
I guess the track order was pretty important with this one.
The track order, yeah,
definitely,
yeah, always, yeah. I definitely think about that because, yeah, and it does turn out sometimes that often the earlier songs are earlier in the album, from my experiences. But yeah, I definitely think about that and try to place the songs in a way that makes sense, and it just works for the flow of the album for sure.
Jake Wilson in the UK did the string arrangements. What kind of brief did you give him?
Well, I initially tried my hand at programming strings and that sort of thing, but I just don't have the experience and understanding of how how strings best work, and especially when you're combining different voices and stuff like that. So I just sort of gave him the songs and my basic ideas, and he would sort of either embellish them and make them more make sense to a string arrangement, or disregard them and do different things and stuff as well. So I think that was a really good end result with collaborating in that way. Jake's a really switched on smart guy, so he really took the lead, and yeah, the results I'm pretty stoked on.
Yeah. So was that all done remotely, or did you get to spend some time with him when you were over there?
We didn't get to meet up, unfortunately, in person, but we did a lot of remote sessions and Skypes and things like that.
Yeah. So tell me about the artwork, the house model that's sort of at the center of the album and can be seen in the Let Yourself Dream video.
Yeah. So really fortunate to have Pat Fox back on board for the artwork for this album. He did my Zenith Rise album as well, and he is a really creative guy, very, very smart guy. So when I had him on board, we had a bit of a discussion, and I was talking about the album title because I knew the album title from the beginning, and I sort of wanted something that represents the quiet place away, and how can we display that and get that vibe happening. And so Pat gave me two options to go for, and the model house ended up being the one we went with, and it was really cool. He documented the whole building process and and all of that. And I couldn't be happier with how it's turned out.
Yeah, it's a very cinematic album. Any aspirations to score a movie one day?
I mean, I definitely, if I got approached about it, yeah, I'd be interested to discuss. But it's difficult for me to write for purposes like that. I think I would find that quite challenging. But I mean, maybe in a good way, you know. So maybe in future for sure. I mean, I've had a lot of people tell me that my music would suit, you know, certain films or whatever, you know. So I'm not going to rule it out for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about the gear you used recording this album. The guitar, or tell me what guitar you used, and did you try a few different ones?
Yeah, so the one I used for the most part was probably about 90% of the album, certainly every song, was my mate and custom shop, which I think you've seen already. I think I had it when we had our last interview a while back. So that was the one that's in everything, and it's sort of the front and center guitar. Just a really great recording guitar, has a really nice sound to it, and just plays beautifully. And it's just basically a dream guitar. It's probably my favorite guitar, actually. And we did try out other guitars as well. So when I did some recording with Forrester, we sort of tried to get different guitars that we could, borrowed a few, and I ended up getting my hands on a banjo, or a guitar banjo. So it's a banjo, but in the layout of a guitar. So that made it a lot easier for me to learn. And a dobro guitar, which we used, a mandolin, and a few other guitars that I was able to get my hands on. But yeah.
So how did you record? Did you just go straight into the desk with the guitar?
So yeah, we had a bit of a setup going at an Airbnb. So that's where we recorded most of the guitars. And yeah, we just had a very simple setup. We had a bedroom situation with all the microphones, and we had like 3 or 4 microphones set up, rooms and close mics and things. I've got a few nice mics myself, some Neumann TLM 103, which I love, and some KM884s, I believe they're called. 184s or 84s, I forget off the top of my head. But yeah, a few nice mics. I forget what interfaces we used, to be honest, because they weren't ones that I owned. But engineer I had with me took care of all of that. Wasn't anything too elaborate, to be honest. Yeah.
But when you're recording with an acoustic guitar, do you like fresh strings, or do you like them played in a bit?
Fresh.
Yeah.
Definitely fresh. Yeah, I reckon that just gets the best sound, you know, nice and bright and crisp.
Yeah. Will it be a tricky album to reproduce live?
Probably. I'm about to find out. So yeah. Yeah, it will be, because I mean there's lots of dance moments and lots of layered guitars and things. I can never seem to avoid layering guitar on guitar on guitar. So yeah, it will be interesting, but I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I think one of the first times, if not the first time you performed live, was at our Melbourne Guitar Show. When you think back at previous Melbourne Guitar Shows, what memories come to mind?
I just love like just the community of it, and just meeting, you know, local people that are passionate like you. So I mean, some moments to me, like having Stephen Taranto shredding at some of the booths, like the Line 6 booth, and just blowing everyone's mind with his guitar playing. Performing obviously was really a really cool thing. And yeah, it was the very first I Got the Sky public performance, was me playing to backing tracks. I think I opened the whole show, which was, yeah, it was a really cool experience. And yeah, I remember that vividly.
Yeah. You've toured Europe. I think you toured just before the pandemic hit last.
Yeah. Yep.
How was that experience, and how is your overseas audience developing?
Been great, been really good. That tour with Monuments was it February, March of 2020. We got back home with a few days just before lockdown, so we just got out. We would have been one of the last bands playing some of those venues for sure. So that was yeah, that was a bit scary, but we did manage to get home okay, so that was good. But the shows were great. We had really good shows. great response, and I'm dying to get back.
Yeah. You recently played the Uncaged festival. Were they your first shows this year?
Yeah. First shows back since that tour, actually. So yeah, that was really exciting, and it was great. Yeah, really good experience.
Yeah, a bit rusty.
Well, yes, but not for the shows, because I did my homework. I made sure I was rehearsed along with my band, and had some new additions to my band. So we did a lot of prep work, I can say, and that always helps your nerves when you're on stage and you've done your homework. So I was rusty, like, coming into those sessions, but by the end of it, felt really good.
Yeah. Also, last year you released an EP with Jake from Pliny's band.
Yep.
What was it like working with somebody else?
It's great. I love it. Yeah, I definitely love it. Jake is a phenomenon. So to work with him is actually like making the music is the easiest part of the whole thing. Like we had a few Skype sessions together and come up with structures and things, and then we would take it away and figure out lines and the more detailed stuff away from those sessions, and it just came together very naturally. I think we're going to do another one for sure.
Something I forgot to ask you when we were talking about the Let Yourself Dream video. You had a guitar underwater there, I saw. I hope that wasn't an expensive one.
No, it wasn't. Trust me. I managed to go looking for some guitars on Facebook Marketplace and get something that looked I kind of wanted it to look like my guitar that I was using, but I can assure you it's not. It was of no loss to anyone. That one. It actually still works. I've still got it. So yeah.
I believe you got a series of videos coming out attached to the album.
Yeah. Got a few that we filmed in different locations. So yeah, I'm excited about that. The next one's going to be dropping next week. So yeah, and yeah, got a few, and I'm trying to work on some more as well. So we'll see how we go.
So what's the plan for the rest of 2022?
So big focus for now is the release of the album and the album launch show. Beyond that, I'm sort of in discussion with my booking agents about where we can play and trying to tee up things nationally and internationally. So I think there might be some things pop up towards the second half of the year. But I'm trying to keep my head more in the immediate future about these album launch show and getting preparation for that, because there's a lot of work to be done, especially we're doing 2 sets for the album launch. So yeah, it's a lot of music that I need to be replicating to the highest degree I can.
So do you mean it would be 1 acoustic set, 1 electric set?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So I've got string players coming down, and piano and percussion, and 2 acoustic guitars to replicate the acoustic album. And we're going to play most of the songs off of that. And then we're going to do a set with all the metal shredding riffy stuff that probably more people know me for. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of music. I think I've calculated it's like coming up to almost 2 hours of music. So definitely good value, if nothing else.
So what's the grand plan for I Built the Sky?
World domination. Well, I hope to I just want to keep going up the ladder and doing bigger shows and playing in more places that I've never been, and just keep it going. I'm definitely a very passionate musician, and I love performing. I love making music. So if I can keep it going, I'd be very stoked. And if I can climb the ladder even higher, then that would be great.
Yeah. Well, the album The Quiet Place Away is out June 3. It's a fabulous album, Ro, a great accomplishment, and great to chat again.
Thanks so much, Greg. Appreciate it. I'm really glad to be here again. It's an honor.